Hey guys, and good Wednesday morning, and thanks for checking out your latest long-range video forecast. Michael Clark here with BAM Weather and the Weather Portal. A lot to dive into today, so I want to get right into it. I want to start off by showing you some preliminary thought processes for the planting season down in South America, using our analog package that we've used here over the last several months. That, as I've said lately, has done a really, really great job with overall nailing the pattern. The thought process is not a huge temperature concern, but a huge precipitation concern. It's already been incredibly dry here across the major soybean areas of South America. And I'll tell you what's interesting is, is that the analog has the dryness a little bit further south. So the concern could be, as we rolled into December, January, February, that the dryness may possibly spread. Or there just could be a significant issue with lack of moisture here as we get into that season down there for the crop. So we want to keep this in mind because we know we've already got an issue going on here, and it all is certainly probably going to matter with time going forward here in terms of just global demand of the crop, right? So morning long-range analysis here, we do show we have impactful weather concerns here, days 3 through 7. Again, the much above normal temperatures favored. And then we do have the northwest flow, risk for some showers and some heavier rainfall totals. I'm not necessarily concerned about any severe weather. Maybe some locally heavy rain events could be possible. But regardless, there's more rain threats than what meets the eye on the weather models, in my opinion. And then Brett had to toss in a preliminary winter outlook, which right now, if we use our current analog package, would continue to favor warmth in the central and eastern U.S. Okay, look at rainfall here over the last 48 hours. A significant, really, amount of rain here across the eastern belt into Indiana, portions of Illinois, Indiana, and north central Ohio. Places that needed a decent rain here in central Indiana, a nice timely rain got it. You look here back out west and continue to still see, no moisture at all that has fallen here in the western belt, which is certainly going to continue to matter. We look at rainfall percents of normal the last 30 days. As I've talked about multiple times, we're concerned about this area here with respect to the western belt. This area here in the east, again, I think it's going to start turning into more of a garden, if you will, cooler and wetter risks evolving, in my opinion, in the eastern belt. And it's only going to help, right? Now, as we look at temperatures, the last 60 days, we've seen obviously where the warmest of the temperatures have set up here in the central western U.S. On a population cooling degree day standpoint, it is the hottest summer on record, so we've ran the air conditioning more this summer for a nation as a whole than we ever have, and the temperatures have been the warmest from normal, around 2 to 5 degrees above the average here in the central U.S. Again, cooler a little bit here into the east. So we've had the drier conditions continue. Now we need to look at the pattern going forward here to see if there's any relief in the pattern. The first thing I want to talk about is Thursday night into Friday, where a little disturbance does come across the top of the periphery of the ridge. Again, there could be some rainfall in here. Perhaps it's not an incredibly heavy rainfall, but there's certainly the potential for some of it to come down. We'll watch that vorticity ribbon, that piece of energy go through Friday night into Saturday into Indiana, Illinois. Again, right now, the chances for rain are pretty slim, but we can't rule it out. The next wave will come Saturday into Sunday, right along the 588 height line. And again, this is where the potential would lie for some rain and thunderstorms on the radar that are not modeled by the QPF maps. We want to continue to watch that. And then as I get out into the weekend, there's plenty of energy late weekend into early next week along this 588 height line and this northwest flow pattern, which tells me, in my opinion, the models are just too dry, and that northwest flow indication can mean that there can be daily chances of rain on the radar. Not widespread, I don't believe, and I don't think it's anything, intense or significant, but something that we need to watch. So we try to pick our best overall blend of everything, and that's where we're seeing the rain chances out the next 7 days. This is generalized thinking. This could end up being totally different, but the point here is it's not a bone dry pattern. but it is a pattern that would feature just drier than normal conditions for the most part. When we look at all of our major weather models, there's 103 ensembles between the Canadian, American, and the European computer models. The next 2 weeks, it does favor the pattern to just remain drier than average. In terms of a percent of normal rainfall, we would see about 50% of the normal. Again, that means that it can still rain. It doesn't mean, red doesn't mean no rain. It just means less of it, right? Week 1, we continue to focus the core, the warmest temperatures, Central Plains, Canadian prairies, cooler temperatures east, very comfortable, nice conditions. In fact, lows in the 50s coming this weekend, the Ohio Valley into the east. Week 2, the same pattern remains. Very, very warm center focus here in the Canadian prairies, important for the crop up there as well. Keeping the cooler risk here into the east in week 2. And really, we don't have any reason to disagree with either of those forecast model compilations there, if you will. So this is what our forecast looks like, which is, again, not much different than what I just showed you. Okay. Now, the thing we're looking at here is the MJO. We are noticing it is moving. The weather models are not doing good with hinting that it's moving, okay, or with knowing that it's moving. So we keep that in mind with the forecast at hand. All right, I want to show you the MJO analogs from the CPC because the precipitation analog, a lot of our September, late August, September Niñas favor a lot of Indian Ocean forcing, which means the tropical forcing in the Madden-Julian oscillation, the phase of the MJO, favors a lot of 2 and 3, maybe some 4. Let's say it's 3 and 4 because of the latest VP maps I've looked at. It looks more like that. And let's say it's stuck there. There's stronger indications that 3 and 4 do in fact have a wetter correlation. The wettest of the correlations would be across the deep south into the eastern belt here a little bit. If you look back out into the west, there's not a huge correlation to wet, but it's an indication that the pattern could possibly, turn wetter as we go forward. And I think it's important. I want to show you real quick the ensemble here. Let's see. Here's the 5-day anomaly of precip. And again, it's maybe not running here. Here we go. And again, as we go out into the 5 to 10 and then out to the 10 to 15, you can see in that 10 to 15 day period, this is all of the models combined, that we start to see wetter conditions try to emerge, but we're still keeping that area of the Corn Belt that's been warm, it's been dry. Unfortunately, we're keeping it, that way. And when you look at the temperature departures, we're also keeping it a little bit warmer up in that area as well, cooler down to that south and east, right? So what do the years look like where we have La Nina and the tropical forcing in the Indian Ocean when we look at September, October? Well, generally, guys, it's a warmer than average pattern for the Corn Belt with variability in the precipitation. Overall, it's much wetter in the eastern Corn Belt than it is in the west, all right? This is the generalized theme that you're looking for. Wetter up the coast, probably some tropical activity up in there as well, especially the hints at ridging with the warmer temperatures. But generally, it favors a warmer and wetter harvest. Not a big concern right now of any early frost or freeze risks as well. So, that's the idea going forward here. Some persistence in the pattern. We put out our weeks 3 and 4 yesterday. Make sure to check those out. But the pattern in the North Pacific says, all right, it says here's the area I look for, right? And what this generally tells me is that this pattern is going to continue here. A lot of consistency. There's not a lot of change going on, and this essentially means a ridge and dry risks and warmth in the Central Plains, cooler and wetter in the east. That's exactly what you're seeing right now, and that's exactly what we may continue to see going forward. That's the persistence part in the pattern that's important in the weeks ahead. If you got questions, let us know. Have a great day.